हेलो गाइस, वेलकम टू माय चैनल दर्शन-D। uh, ये मैंने नया सीरीज शुरू किया है टू हेल्प देम आउट द पर्सन हु इज गोइंग टू गिव इंटरव्यू इन अ सर्विस बेस्ड कंपनी और a product based company. Based on my experiences, I'm going to share my experiences with the different company. So मेरा गोल ये है कि I'll be helping out those people who's going to attend the interview with the different company. ये सीरीज मैं बाइलिंगुअल रखूंगा इंग्लिश एंड हिंदी में so that everyone can understand this one. So without any further delay, I'm going to start with this series. The first in this series, the first company I have targeted it is Infosys. Infosys is a very big MNC company. It's a very good company to start with. uh, I have worked with Infosys and I have cleared this interview very much in a first attempt and all. So I would like to explain my experiences with which I faced it while interview and while working with this company. So without any further delay, I am going to start with this company. So I'll tell you briefly. I'll tell you about the processes of how मेरा interview कैसे actually it happened in the Infosys. So the process was like recruiter generally call करते हैं. They'll take your informations and they'll process your uh, profile with the company. If the managers or any hiring managers they found like your application is suitable for this particular openings and all, so in that case they'll call you और आपके अवेलेबिलिटी के अनुसार वो लोग इंटरव्यू शेड्यूल करेंगे. तो start with process interview and then you'll get feedback. If everything went right, you'll have a salary negotiation and then offer and then joining. So process, as I told you, like you'll be having this many process like getting calls and they'll ask your basic informations and they'll generate your own reference ID for that. वो reference ID का यूज करके आप कभी भी अपना status जान सकते हो. That will be unique for the particular individual. So interview, the day of interview, mostly they takes in the 3 rounds actually. The first round would be technical. It will be a purely on technical basically, where they will check your all the technical knowledge. And one after that would be techno managerial, I would say. That is more or less about how you are working on the project, how you have dealt the pressures, those things and all. They'll be asking you. If you are able to clear the first round, pretty much sure that you will be in the second round of interview. HR होने के बाद you can be sure that mm, forward, मेरा intention basically ये है कि what are the interview questions they are asking while taking the interview. So since I'm from Java background, I'm working with different Java framework and all. So based on my experiences, I'll tell you that what they used to ask me when I was giving this interview. So I was giving interview when I was having 2 years of experience in it, in the Java backend. So first questions started with tell me about yourself. That is the very first common questions. You have to well prepare for that. आप उसके लिए अच्छे से तैयारी करिए. आप अगर तैयारी नहीं कर पाते तो you write down your points that what are the things you are going to explain in an interview. तो आप उसको write it down कर लें और अपने strength और थोड़ी सी उसको उसमें highlight करें. In technical interview, it doesn't matter a lot that you are going to explain that your strength and weaknesses and all. It doesn't matter. But if you are mentioning something, that will be a positive point for you. So coming to the I have divided these segments in Java, like core Java, Spring Boot, Spring, JPA, microservices, and SQL. If you are working as a backend developer, you must be aware of these things. So The first questions they'll be asking, they'll start from the core Java actually. That the first question they will ask me, का पहला क्वेश्चन था कि oops and object oriented and object based programming languages में differences क्या है. So you'll have to be clear cut that these are the these are the differences of that. Like, what are the features of oops? Once you said that, if they ask you the what are the features of oops, then you must be aware of that what are the features of it, and start वहां से वो लोग डीप पे डाइव करेंगे और उसके बाद वो लोग घुस जाएंगे कि यार ये इनकैप्सुलेशन कैसे होता है. That's what I feel was how it went for me. कि पहले कोर जावा और oops के फीचर क्या है, फिर मैंने बताया oops के फीचर. Then started asking that what is a polymorphism. That a very tricky questions over here. Polymorphism. What is polymorphism? Once you said that compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism, they'll start asking you that what is the runtime and polymorphism and compile time polymorphism, where we use these things, how you achieve it. Once you cross these lines, so they'll be pretty much okay with that. uh, they might ask you to write questions. In my case, they asked me to write overriding overloading questions, that in a single class how you're writing going to overload you know uh, method. That is quite possible now. So be prepared for that. After that, आपको you'll have to be thorough about exceptions. That first question was, they asked me that what is the parent class of exception. So I can tell you the answer as well, but it won't be possible to explain each and every answer of the questions, and the video length will be very large. So what I would suggest you to find it out, work on those things, and you will be able to make it out. So exceptions से questions पूछे थे. What is the exceptions, how to what are the types of exceptions, and the most important questions start from like try catch. That what is try catch? Can you use try catch? Can you use only catch? Can you use only try? Can you use with try with finally, or you can use with try catch and finally. अगर प्रोग्राम में कहीं एक्सेप्शन आता है, will finally will execute or not. Finally के बाद they'll start asking, they ask me that what is the final. That is a key actually. What is the scope of the final, where you can use it, and what would be the impact of the on code. Final के बाद they ask me what is the finalize. What is finalize? uh, that is again a method, similar to method, like how what is the advantage of using this finalize. uh, that is all about the you know uh, exception. And they start asking about, now the major thing is in core Java is they start asking about the string. What is a string? Why a string is immutable? How you'll make your class as immutable? That is very important questions they'll ask you if you are going with the lesser experience. After that, uh, how you will make your string as a mutable? That is another questions. uh, these are the basic questions they asked, and for core Java. When it comes to collections and all, the most important questions is, they'll ask you that internal implementation of hash map is nowadays the very common questions. So you'll have to be thorough about how hash code and equals works, how what is the contract between the hash code and equals method, how bucket gets created inside a hash map when you use put method, how the size, what is the threshold, what is the initial size of the hash map gets created. So be prepared for that. uh, After that, once it is done, they might ask you that what is the internal implementation of set, has set, how it internally work. A major differences in the collections they can ask you is what is the difference between array list and linked list. You know that linked list use nodes and all. In array list what you can use is array, internal implementation of array, so it makes the dynamic array. So you will have to be more thorough about these things. So now these are the basic questions they asked about these things. Now coming to towards the, once you say that I work on Spring Boot, so the major question asked why Spring Boot over Spring. So you'll have to be be I mean you have to explain that कि क्या क्या इसके advantages हैं, क्या क्या इसके pros and cons हैं, है ना, over Spring. Once you done with that, the major things is why we are using Spring Boot, what is the internal server it's provided, how you'll change the server, how you'll change the port number. These things you will be, if you are able to tell them, you are pretty much okay with that. So now if they ask you that what is, थोड़ा सा आपको annotations के बारे में पता होना चाहिए, like what is a Spring Boot applications, what is AutoWire, what is configurations, what is component, these things. If you are able to make that things, then it's okay. So whatever the things I'm telling you, this has been asked to me um, when they were asking interview when I had an interview with Infosys. So GPA, आपको पता होगा, GPA is something which we use to connect with the database, not connection with the database, but we used to write our queries, not query. It's a ORM tool where object relation management, which we used to write our, to get the data from table. We use GPA and all. So if you have used it, you will be able to make it out that what how you are using it. The process they can ask you that how you can use the GPA, what is the process to call the GPA on your program. So just be thorough about that. And when you say that if you have worked on microservices, they'll ask you that कि कौन से आर्किटेक्चर पे आपने काम करा है, कैसे, how does microservices communicate with each other. Now the microservices, like how you are you're making connections with others, how you are making fault tolerance, how you are making resilient, these things, these terms they can ask you. So if you'll Google it also, you'll be able to find it. It's not a big deal for that. And coming to the part of SQL, SQL, if you are able to if you are writing SQL queries, you will be able to make it out. The major questions I feel is कि आपने अगर ये कर लिया तो SQL 90% is okay with that. तो उनका एक they'll ask you to write on query for like suppose we have a employee table and a department table. So there is a primary and foreign key mapping in it. So what you have to do is you have to find out um, in each department how many employees is there. So you have to make the query for that. So if like they'll ask you that, another question is कि highest salary निकालना है, second highest salary निकालना है of the employee. These three, if you are able to make it out, if you are these three questions आपने you have done it, तो SQL के I think 70 to 80% question is done. So this was all things which they asked to me and technical interview of Infosys. And I did well actually in that. So after some time I got feedback saying that we are okay with that, now we are processing for the next round. So the next round was like techno managerial. It's depend on the manager whether they are asking about your project or आपने कैसे काम करा है, कैसे चीज़ों को हैंडल करा है. They can ask you, but it's totally depend on them. They can also ask you the same questions which they have asked in the previous segment. So be prepared for that also. They can ask you some technical questions, how this microservices worked or something like that. So if you are able to give these answers, that is pretty much okay. Now once you are clear with that, the same day it can happen HR negotiation. If you are visiting office or if you are having online interview, in that case it can delay by 1 or 2 days or 3 days max. You'll be getting within 3 days you'll be getting response from HR person. They'll ask you HR, they'll starting the major things like how or how much you are expecting. They'll not disclose their budget, but they'll ask you from your end that what all, how much you're expecting it. And that is a very tricky point for the employees. Now once salary negotiations done, it can take you 1 to 2 weeks to release your offer based on your previous company agreement or release policy. You'll accept this offer and you'll get time to join this company and good to go. The day first day in Infosys will be there. So मैं इस वीडियो को बनाने का मकसद था कि मैं आपको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इंटरव्यू के प्रोसेस के बारे में बता सकूं, हाउ दे आर आस्किंग द क्वेश्चंस एंड ऑल. होप यू get benefited from this video. Thank you for watching. I'll be coming with a different series, series in the sense like first I'll be I'll be making videos for different companies, interview experiences, and as well as the questions for those company जो उन्होंने questions पूछे हैं. Based on my research, I'll provide you the questions. If you need any answer of these questions, you can ask me in the comment section. I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you guys.